So, welcome. This is the Rose Garden Podcast. I go by Nairi Rose, and I'm really excited because I'm just getting back into my podcast venture. This is season 4 for me, and I really want to hone in on getting to know people and their stories and their backgrounds. So, everything is a conversation for me, and I'm just like really intrigued by your story. I mean, I can tell that you are enthusiastic and energetic. I can tell that you have been through a lot and you have a story to tell and convey to the world. So I just want to give you the opportunity to really just talk about your life, like your many lives that you lived, starting just like your background. So, like, where are you from? How did you grow up?
Thank you, first and foremost, for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it. Salutes to you for your accomplishments. I grew up pretty much all over Southern California, but I call Pasadena my home. I grew up in Watts. I grew up in the PJs. Grew up in Pueblos. It's been like a journey for me, a long journey. But my youth is what started off. Um, what triggered me the most was when my mother was raped in front of me by 5 Crips from PJs. 5 of them held her down and raped her, and one put a gun to my head before, and one put a gun to my head and told me don't move. And I was able to watch my mother be raped in front of me. At that time, I didn't know what to do. I was a child. I couldn't protect her. I was looking for my father to be there, and he wasn't. This is no shot at him because he was living this life. He was in a gang culture, and once you get in this lifestyle, it's hard for you to be able to focus on family when you're in your addiction, because gang banging is an addiction. From there, we moved to Hemet, and my mother contracted HIV during that intercourse. She started to use drugs. She was thick, nice body, big lips, beautiful woman, and I watched her turn to a skeleton right before my eyes. She went from being voluptuous to literally a stick, like overnight, just pure bones. She used to go to the hospital a lot. She had kidney failure as well, so she was on dialysis. So at 8 years old, I used to go with her and watch her, the blood go into the machine and get put back into her body. I was always a mama's boy, so I used to always fear for my mom's safety and security. One night, at exactly the day of Princess Diana and exactly the time of Princess Diana, the hospital called. And at that time, I knew how to like play on my voice. And I acted like I was an adult when I answered the call. And the doctor said that Daniela Von Harris has passed away. And I just remember dropping the phone and screaming. Went outside, started hitting the tree. My auntie Monica Zamora, she was there when she came home. She got the phone call too, and she talked to the doctor. She was trying to console me. My granny was trying to console me as well. And they was trying to, get me not to cry and to like take it in. But they tried to nurture me as well as mother figures as well. And I appreciate them for that. After that took place, I ended up getting put into the system. But my auntie Tiki ended up getting me. She's a transsexual. And when I was in Ontario at the time, when they found out that the school found out I was living a transsexual, back then it was frowned upon. Now it's accepted to be who you are. So they got me removed from the house and put me in the system, which was the bad thing to me because family, regardless of what they are, that's important. Family structure is very important. And I got lost in the shuffle of group homes and foster homes. Ashford Church was my first group home. I went into a lot of the staff there. They really didn't care too much about the kids. So I used to fight a lot. I didn't play that mama jokes, your mama this, mama that. I didn't play the type of jokes. So I seen a lot of fights because I lost my mom. So with that being said, my auntie Linda ended up finding me. And she took me in, offered me a beautiful household, schooling. I went to Bret Hart Elementary in Burbank, California. I was the only black kid in the whole school, so I kind of stood out, but I was an athlete, so I got a lot of respect from that. She was in the military as well, had a military background, and she tried to give me discipline, but I was so bad, not bad as a child, but made bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And I ended up rejecting what she was trying to do for me, and she ended up putting me back in the system. I go to a group home called Holly Grove on Vine Street in Hollywood. That's the same place Marilyn Monroe was. So they had a lot of money, a lot of funding from different organizations. And I ended up excelling there. Got a 4.0 from 7th to 8th grade. Went to Irving Middle School out there in Eagle Rock. I ended up transitioning because that was a facility. And as you do better in facilities, they tend to put you in homes. So a six bed home with other people my age in Pasadena with Altadena on Santa Rosa and Pine. That's when I started to develop and understand the Bloods even more. Because I grew up mostly around Crips. I never banged before that, but I had a deep rooted hate towards the Crips because I went to my mother. And I ended up going to Pasadena High School. First, I went to Wilson Middle School for summer school. I learned some PDLs, best of PDLs, but it wasn't nothing just yet. I ended up going Pasadena High. I tried out for varsity for basketball. They used to call me Little Iverson because I was real good at basketball, like awesome. And I tried to make the team, but the point guard at the time was bigger than me. So once he found out that he couldn't stop me with speed, he started bodying me, and I lost the position. And I felt like basketball was gonna never be inside of my dreams. So I gave up on it and started hanging with Chris Graves from Projects. And he tried to say, bro, don't bang, bro, like this ain't the life. So on a particular day, my crib went out to the drive at the 264 bus stop, and I knocked him out. And when I knocked him out, he woke up later on, and the bus pulled up. He got on the bus, and he called the Squealy Lanes. At that time, ABC and Squealy was clicked up, so Blood and Crip game was combined to go against the PDLs. But the Squeaglies hate the projects more, and at that time, I was clipping Project PDL. I had a black Dickie suit on that day, black flag, black PI, black chucks, and the Squeaglies approached me at the school, like, bro, you heard you got down with Justin? Like, yeah, I did. What's up? So I ended up getting down with a few of them, one of them at least, and other projects started taking my back. So throughout the whole school day, we was beating them up in class, we was beating them up at lunchtime, we was beating them up every chance we got. Whether they in class with the teacher watching, we didn't care. Taking their chucks, taking their shirts, throwing them on the roof, saying walking around school with no shirt and no shoes on, and we didn't care. And looking back on hindsight, that wasn't the right thing to do to another brother, especially a black man or a black child. But we're children, so we're not really identifying to what a man is. So later on, as time passed, at the end of the day, they're like, hey, bro, they're like, man, you active, like, bro, get put on the set. I'm like, for sure. So they called the big homies. It was like, bro, come put them on. So CK Boo, Tiny 6'8", they all come up there. Tiny 6'8" was already going there, but they called CK Boo. So CK Boo came up there, free him pretty soon, hopefully. He comes up to the school and they're like, yeah, bro, put him on. And I'm like, let's do it. The group home pull up, and the group home is like, hey, Carter, get in the car. I'm like, forget that group home. I'm about to get put on the set. They're like, no, little bro, just come back later. They didn't know how crazy I was because I came the same day. I actually went to Style 7 and bought another brand new black flag just so I can show them, like, yeah, bro, I'm really pushing it. So I go to Jackie Robinson to get put on. G Marv, G Lee, Chill. They like, bro, Chill was my size, but Chill was like the big homies ain't here, so we can't put them on. And ended up destroying their property because they called the police on me. And now it's my introduction into juvenile hall. So when I entered juvenile hall, I'm tearing up a little bit. I ended up going to court one day, and I ran into the homie CK Monster from ADL. And I'm banging where you from, like Project Gangsters, but he knew me already. I forgot that he knew me. And bro, it's like, stop banging projects, but you ain't from the hood. You ain't from the set. And I'm like, bro, all right, put my head down because I was embarrassed. He like, bro, don't trip. When you go back, bang on this person named Domingo. He got you. So when I go back to Unity TV in Central, I was seeing the tall guy Domingo. Bang on him, find out he from PDL Fair Oaks. At that time, we had a lot of enemies there from LA Lane's enemies, Broadway's, Hoover's, Raymond's. And I started fighting all of them. And he liked my style, so he like, bro, I'm gonna make you my deuce. You're gonna be Junior Flag Deuce. I'm like, for sure. So I go get down with him. He like, bro, the homies gonna, but just so you can bang in juvenile hall, I did that. I'm like, for sure. So I ended up getting out, going to Lancaster group home. I run away within, after they buy my clothes, I run away. And in group homes, they give you vouchers so you can get clothes and stuff like that. I ended up running back to Pasadena. I had no one to school with me. Second of all, I have no family out there, zero family, zero ties. But I was so intrigued by them. I used to sleep on benches, behind trash cans, on anywhere I could lay my head, bus stops. Eventually, I ran into G Mike and Trey. These were two people that went to school with me. Trey I met in the hood, and they took a liking to me and brought me home to their mom and let me stay there. So I started living there, but I ended up going back to jail, and that became a revolving door. I go back to the same people, same thing. Um, the last time I did that, they sent me to Camp Rocky. I got out there again and sent me to Camp Cleopatra. At Cleopatra, I begun to run track and fell over track and ended up developing like a skill set that people start to pay attention to. But because the camp was only 9 months, I ended up getting out, leaving, and they put me in another group home because I had no family to go to. So when I go to this group home, it's all Crips. So I ended up they had no clothes for me. So they like, bro, here goes some blue. That's all they had. So I put on blue corduroy hot shoes, blue Dickies, blue hoodie. And I look down like, man, I got too much blue on. I go to Target and Walmart and I buy red bandanas. And I ended up putting two of them on, one in my right pocket, one on my shoulder. And I had no guns, so I was fake banging. Some Crips put up on me and banged on me. Where you from, cuz? I'm from West Side PDL. He jump out. He's like, what you say? I'm from West Side. And as soon as I said the P, boom, he broke my whole jaw. So my jaw was hanging. And I bag up. I'm like, I'm good. I couldn't squabble. So his homies was tripping. They like, nah, bro, just leave him alone. You already broke his jaw. He good. F that slide. Got back in the car and left.
If you don't mind me asking, how old
15.
are you? You're 15.
15.
Wow.
Yeah. And to show you, sorry, I'm actually having to prepare.
No, take your time. Take your time.
That's me. When I had my jaw broke, there's wires in it. And that's me. You can see my jaw swollen. So I ended up going back to the hood, but at that time I also had the DL tatted on the side of my face at 13. When I first started banging the hood. I cut the wires off with pliers because I couldn't eat. So I ended up cutting the wires on. They were still in my mouth though, but the part that wired it shut, just so I can eat. And while I was in the hood, I ended up getting a phone call from my grandma and my auntie Nikki, and my grandma Wanda. They ended up finding me because my auntie Kim, which is my dad's sister, ran to one of the homegirls of PDL, and she was saying my name. She like, that's my little cousin, my nephew. So she ended up sending a message out. They ended up finding me and connecting me to my uncle Kenneth Hogan and my cousin Patrick Neville, who I love to death. They ended up connecting me to them. They was rich, living in the mansion on Villa Verde in West Covina. So he's trying to give me the best life he can give me. Give me $500 a week just for going to school, just to be a kid. I was going to South Hills in West Covina, but before there, I was going to Fair Valley. South Hills actually denied me at first because of my record. They thought I was going to come back because of the type of person I was. But I ended up excelling at Fair Valley and got, I believe, a 3.8, and they ended up crossing me over to South Hills. And I was in 12th grade at the time. I came there in January, ended up getting a scholarship through them to Northridge for track and field and academics because I had a 3.6 GPA upon my senior year, and the school ended. I didn't know I had a scholarship at the time, so I didn't slow down. My uncle ended up searching my room one day, finding red, too much of it, red belts, red chucks, red laces, red shirts. He's like, man, you still promoting this gang stuff? I got kids, Kendall and Keith. He like, I can't have you here, not with my kids around. So he kicked me out, which I understood because that's a father protecting his home. But I deeply appreciated him for even offering me the opportunity to learn and change my life back then. but I'm going to the hood, giving money to the homies and hanging out still. I end up buying a gun and ends up shooting all over Los Angeles. Just terrible. In a particular day that I got incarcerated for, I ended up shooting a guy for wearing the color blue. He was walking down the street with his friend. They both had blue on, and I bang on him. Where you from, blood? But I had the gun behind my back. They took off running, and we ended up jumping in the car and finding them. I jump out and I shoot him. I run up to Domo in the gun jam by the grace of God. And
Mm.
I got back in the car, left, and I get away for the first month. And people start putting bodies on me. A lot of Crips was dying at that time in Altadena, and they start saying Flag did it, Lil AI did it. And I'm like, I didn't do the murders, bro. Like, stop putting bodies on me. So I ended up calling Auntie Linda and explaining to her, like, Auntie, I'm hot out here. I've been high. I'm doing too much. I just shot somebody and it's bad. And she ended up hanging up on me, like making see like everything was cool. Hung up on me. Ended up calling the police right after that, and it said was there a shooting in Pasadena area recently, and the police said yeah, she I think that's my nephew. So they arranged to get me locked up and incarcerated. So we're driving. I was trying to go to Oregon, and she's taking me on a freeway. We got by Fair Oaks, and she jerked the car. And when she jerked the car, that was a signal to let the police know there was one undercover following us the whole time, but to let them know I was in the car. So more cop cars surrounded us. They put her in cuffs and made it seem like she was being arrested. In the words of Mozzie, I'll say the gun mine before I say it's ours. So I said everything by myself. I have no crime needs. I'm thinking I'm going to YA, juvenile life to the age of 25. I'm prepared for that. I'm already banging, so I'm just going to get my name even more active in these streets. So maternity ended up happening because when my co-defendant ended up getting arrested for his own case called SOM Day, sock out Mexicans. And the Mexican positively identified him to be the person that assaulted him. And in the middle of the recording, he says that Iverson jumped out and shot. So he starts to talk about my case, and he linked himself into the case as well as our other co-defendant who was already in the county, already in the pen for his own crime. So I ended up losing my fitness, which the fitness is, it allows the judge in juvenile court to see where your mind state is at. And if your mind state is at a level that they feel can get you crossed over as an adult, they'll do it. So they crossed me over to adult court. I end up going to sleep in juvenile hall, waking up in the county. When I get into the county, I landed in the cell with a guy named Solo Gun from EMF, that's in Miami, Florida. The Mexicans jumped up and I walked in like they was gonna take off on me, but Solo Gun stopped them because I looked so young. And he's like, bro, so how old are you? I'm like, I'm 18. I just came from juvenile hall. He like, what? Juvenile hall? I'm like, yeah. So he allows me to stay. Upon that staying, he's teaching me like how to make knives, how to do this, like giving me pretty much to run down the county, which wasn't his job because he wasn't black. I ended up stepping out the cell one day to go to the shower and ended up doing a shower with all Southsiders. They looked at me and was like, whoa, what's this black doing in here with us? He don't have no Southsider tats on him, so where's he from? So they looked they was gonna hurt me, and Solo gonna tell him like, man, he don't know no better. Please like leave him alone. So they left me alone, and I ended up stayed in the shower, put my cheeks against the wall because I was scared. I'm just gonna rape me. What they was gonna do? I got out the shower. Solo Gun, that was the last straw for me. So Solo Gun ended up calling the blacks on the tier saying, hey, man, y'all got a black in here. When the blacks came down, they asked me where I was from for PDL. They're like, bro, you can't be in here. So they moved me upstairs to Baker Road 3500. From there, I started going to Supermax, turning it up, stabbing people, busting on people, just doing the life of what they do in the county jail, running fades and stuff of that nature. So I ended up losing my case in 2008. In 2008, I went to court. I lose it due to statements of my co-defendant, but I got on stand to try to free both of them because they both didn't know how to gun. And I jumped out and I put all of our lives in jeopardy by shooting. So I felt bad that they didn't deserve to get a life sentence for something that I did. So I took responsibility for the whole crime, but they still found my co-defendant, Richard Isham, guilty of a deadly weapon.
You didn't hurt the person that you shot at. You said the gun jammed, but they still try to give you a life sentence.
The bullet got lodged in his spine, and that's what gave it the murder. They said they took it out that he would be paralyzed. So that's why they gave me attempted murder instead of assault. So both assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder on the same person, they gave me the higher and they stayed the lesser, which was the assault. So I'm receiving 40 years to life, 15 for attempted murder, 25 to life for the gun enhancement. And for those who have family members that is convicted of gun enhancement, you get more time for the enhancement than the actual crime. That's injustice. How do you commit a crime that you have the time for it? But let's say you got 4 years for a deadly weapon. That's the crime. But for you having a gun in the commission of the crime, which the assault with a deadly weapon is actually the gun already,
Right.
they would give you an additional 25 to life and increase your sentence. That's like I got 40. So I ended up going to Delano for reception, and within 2 weeks of being there, I had a dream, and I saw we had a ride with the Northerners. And Northerners is Mexicans that's up north that pushed 14, now 13. Southern California pushed 13, and they were blue. The Northerners were red. But then they have their own little feud. They're fixing it now, but in the early 2000s, they was really at each other's throat in prisons. The next day, exactly, I was in a cell with a guy named Lil Rue, who was a trustee at the time. There was a guy there who was from San Francisco who did something to a Northern on the streets, and they remember. So before they can get him, he took off first. Now I'm in a cell, the door is open, it's like crack. I'm writing a letter, I hear like a rumbling. I run to the door to look. It's 5 blacks and it's 30 Mexicans jumping them. So I run down the tier. One of the homies throw me a knife and I start stabbing the Mexicans to stop them from jumping the blacks. They all turned towards me and scattered and stuff like that. After that, the Northerners put a hit on me. It was like, who was the one stabbing? And they told the blacks, give us the one that was stabbing because he hurt our homies. I ended up going to committee, which is a panel of caseworkers, warden, system warden, and they talk to you about your behavior, stuff like that, or your programming. And they seen I was in a riot within my first 2 weeks of being incarcerated in prison. That they like, yo, you're ready for Pelican Bay. So they sent me straight to Pelican Bay. Upon getting there, I get a letter from my grandma stating that my dad is there. So I ended up doing the same yard with my father. I had to get permission for the Bloods to enter the cell with my father. And Mad Mo, to be exact, free him soon. He gives the blessings to go in the cell with my father. So upon me walking in the cell with my dad, I took my shirt off. I want to get down with him. So I'm like, bro, you ain't been here my whole life. You're not a good father. He didn't want to fight me, not out of fear, but because I was his son. So he sits down, we have a talk, and we expressed, like he expressed to me, look, son, you're in the culture now. Look how you're living. Now imagine the 80s and the early 90s. Like, I couldn't sit down. And I understood, because I first seek to understand someone's point of view before my own, because I'm not always right. There's places I can grow in. There's places people can sharpen my tools in. So I appreciate humanity just for offering knowledge and information from them that turns to wisdom. So me and my dad have separated later on because I tried to give him the inspiration to go get his GED, because high school diplomas and GEDs are like AA degrees now. In the public, they're nothing. BAs is the new AAs. So I'm trying to get him to get higher education so that he can get a job upon his release. We butted heads because he didn't want to do it and he was stuck in his ways. So I moved from the cell with him to the cell with homie KD from Paru, from Elm Street to be exact. He was a youngster like my age, so we just ran amok. I started raising my hand for every DP, every removal, because I wanted my name to ring bells. Every yard I stood on, I wanted people to fear me or to know I'm not to be played with. I accomplished that mission during my I called a shoe turn for knocking one of the homies out. It went from neutral combat to um, assault on an inmate, which is like a higher offense. So they gave me a year inside of the whole Pelican Bay shoe, the same one that Denzel Washington said, shoe program, mother.
Mhm.
Yeah, that same exact shoe
Okay.
program I ended up experiencing. So I'm in there. I meet UBNs, I meet Mexican mafias, I meet CCOs, Blue Notes. That's the Crip cut version. Now, cut means when you go to prison, you get under an organization that strictly follow one title, either Blood or Crip. So we have for the Bloods, we have Bloodline and UBN. For the Crips, you have CCO and Blue Note. A lot of the organizations are dying off because a lot of people don't want to be a part of it because it's a prison gang and it does things that you need to be doing. Now, long story short, I gained a lot of knowledge from them because they're very structured. They insisted on working out, reading books, education, identifying yourself as a man, your standards, what you believe in, and conducting yourself in a correct manner. And I let that sink in when I was in the shoe, and I took it with me upon my journey. How I got into doing NAAA and all these groups, college, all this stuff is they have this thing called a doc hearing. And a doc hearing is when they prepare you for what you need for board. They come, we have a life sentence, especially 40 years of life. They come like within like your very first like 4 years of prison to tell you what you need and be prepared for and have when you go in front of the board. And this particular day, the guy that was speaking to me asked me, Mr. Carter, how long you have? I said, you can look at the file. So he's telling me, well, you need a college degree, you need NAAA, Criminal Gang Anonymous. And he starts saying everything I need. Then he goes to open my file. And when he opens it, he sees it says 4 years to life. And he laughs. He's like, do what you can. And he shut it and walked away. And I took that as he was laughing at me like, you're not going to survive. Either you're going to die or by the time you get to board, you're going to have so much bad behavior that you're not going to get out. Mm-hmm. So I took that as a challenge. When I get challenged, I feel that I have to prove the other person wrong. Mm-hmm. And the way he took care of his daughter and his son, to me, was amazing. Not only that, he showed me that you can be more than just a gang member. That doesn't mean you have to turn your back on your hood, no longer say you're from this hood, just because your mindset has changed. So he inspired me to still be able to speak my truth, regardless of if I'm actively participating in a negativity that's harming our culture. And when he did that, it opened my eyes to want to own my own LLC, wanted to reach out, create my own Vector 90. That's what made me want to create this STEM education program for the kids in Pasadena. Because in my eyes, how is JPL in the back of Pasadena, but yet there's no centers in our city that allows kids to go look at rocks from the moon, shoot for stars, space shuttles, like y'all in the back of us. So when I was in Lancaster, I was sitting on the bunk, and I said, no, I'm going to write them my thoughts and tell them how I feel. And then we can create a curriculum which will allow kids to have a STEM education program during COVID. And I wrote them. Now, to my surprise, they sent 4 boxes of their curriculum. And the prison intercepted it. And the warden came and the sergeants came in like, how did you get NASA to write you? And I was like, I don't know. I just wrote them and told them how I feel. So I started to work on that to create that STEM education program. It's currently not in process right now because of my position I was at the time. Now that I'm home, soon I will be walking into JPL in a suit and tie and see if I can have a sit down with them to be able to restart this and get brick and mortar funding, start a nonprofit which will allow kids in Pasadena to have this. So this is one of the things on my bucket list and goal to check off in the future. With that being said, I want to touch on like how men of this generation and how we have the lack of those to show the youth a different way. So many kids are growing up right now on drugs, shooting guns. They want the one with the biggest gun. They want the one with the biggest clip, and they're fantasizing this life through social media, through music, through what they put on TV, and they don't really know the detrimental consequences of what comes with this lifestyle. I'm one that can show them through paperwork. I have write ups and things of that nature of what comes with that. I'm not proud of what I've done at all.
As you were, telling your story, but just leading up to your experience of wanting to be part of the gang culture, and then the incident to where you say you were 8 years old and something happened to your mom. And I'm preparing myself to lead a conversation with women about us and things that we could learn and just kind of bring together, because I feel like there is a divide between men and women. Um, do you think that what happened with your mother kind of pushed you to the prison life or prison culture? Do you also put some of that responsibility on your father not being there as well?
I actually do. Thank you for bringing that up. It was direct ties. I shot the guy day before Mother's Day. I watched my friends pass out flowers and to their moms, to their girlfriends, and things of that nature. And I realized at that moment that I didn't have my mom. So when I saw the person with blue, it triggered me. And the importance of recovery and to put things aside that you have been wronged, the injustice that you have received, you have to understand the trigger behind it. And learning your triggers will prevent you from making the same mistakes. So that trigger for my mom being raped led to me wanting to harm somebody just for wearing blue, whether they was a Crip or not. And my father not being present, I didn't know how to cope with that. And I felt that all Crips did that to my mom. It wasn't until my incarceration I found out that that's not true, that the Crips actually do not like that behavior. And they also showed me that they care as well. So I started to get all my gang tattoos removed when I was incarcerated, regarding Crips, because they show me that they're different. They're not the same as those 5 individuals that did that. So I had to compartmentalize the fact that it wasn't my mom's fault. It was those guys' fault, and even to their sake, I don't hate them no more, because who knows what they experienced growing up. Trauma. When you receive trauma in your life, you tend to repeat that cycle on others. Hurt people. Without forgiveness, it would be hard to overcome what you experienced through life. So you have to seek forgiveness, and I learned that through God. During my incarceration, I found God, and I gave my soul, my life to Him, and asked Him to increase my wisdom and understanding, not in my own mind, but in His. Like He says, His thoughts aren't our thoughts. And He bestowed upon me the wisdom to learn through my soul rather than my physical flesh. So now I'm experiencing life not in the flesh.
Right.
I'm experiencing life now through my soul.
Now, thank you for answering. I also read in that letter, or in, because you have a plethora of people who advocated for you and supported you while you were incarcerated. And I believe somewhere that the victim forgave you and wanted you out of prison as well. Is that true?
Yes, yes. Shout out to him. I
Okay.
love him for that. We actually took pictures together. When I first got out, my first day out. I actually called him, had a conversation with him, expressed my apologies for doing what I did. Gave him the backstory on why it happened, and by the grace of God, the man forgave me, and we mended that relationship. And yes, Fritzy Hortzman was another person involved in my life. Alex Sad, um, my cousin Christopher, my cousin Pat, mom, Regina Robertson, my auntie Monica Zamora, Michael Dash, my cousin Davey, my auntie Nikki, Kiana. She was behind me a lot behind that situation. Um, Ashley, it's so many people that dining food, the lists, Palmer, Pay Me, like, and big ups to them because they're helping the youth right now with football. So I'm starting to surround myself around individuals that seeking the same thing that I'm seeing to change the direction of the youth.
So I was looking at your social media and you said that you reunited with your aunt. Was that the same aunt that basically you said set you up and y'all just came together?
Yes, my auntie came to see me yesterday, and I told her I forgive her. There's two different cultures. There's the gang culture and there's citizen cultures. There's people that abide by rules. Period. They don't see family. Not that they don't see family, but they see that family is bigger than who they're born to. That family is the community, and they're here to protect the community as if that they're exactly a part of their family. So once I understood that, I was able to separate my lifestyle from her lifestyle and ask her to forgive me for the injury I've done, the wrong I've done, to let her know that I love her and she's my auntie. Blood is thicker than water in any situation.
I'm so proud of you. I feel like in today's world, people carry a lot of hate, a lot of anger. So for you to have that forgiveness and tell your aunt, I forgive you, is so powerful. It's freeing for you, but it also acknowledges that you know where you went wrong. And I see that you're trying to like empower the youth. And I feel like a lot of youth are suffering because of their parents, whether they have two parents or one. A lot of pressure is being put on the youth, which drives them to the streets. What advice would you give young men and young women to just keep pushing forward?
I believe that especially now women need women like you to inspire them because they're chasing behind the Cardi B's, the strippers, that lifestyle, the BBLs and butts, and like they're not loving themselves as beautiful women, which they are, regardless of shape, size, or color. They're beautiful because they're God's creation, and He doesn't create anything imperfect. Although we view each other as being imperfect, God doesn't make any mistakes. And I hope that the young women can learn from you and understand that they can take a better path with knowledge in college and going towards that direction to create themselves a better future for them and their seeds because they are the nurturer and they are incubators. For men, whatever we put into a woman, she gives out. So if you're putting negative into your woman, you're down her, you're not uplifting her, then you will create that resentment towards man and her. And then you start to put the blame on her, which it isn't her fault because she's there to be there for you and grow with you. I was told by my auntie, I don't walk behind you because I don't follow. I won't walk in front of you because I might not lead you the right way, but I walk beside you because we're equal. And I believe that with a woman, she is our equal. And I hope that young man can get out of the mindset of disrespecting women and calling them bitches, and they're not dogs. They're human beings. For downing them, it starts to uplift them whether you're with them or not. It's not about sexual gratification. It's not about wanting to be with them. It's more of we're humanity. And if we can see each other through humanity eyes, we can prevail to a golden age.
Absolutely. I just super appreciate this conversation. I would love to converse with you again. Like, I would love to do this again because I feel like there's so much more we could discuss and talk about. But I really want to just like end on this note because it's so powerful and it's so much. So I hope you understand that and respect it. And I thank you for being on this platform.
And I would say thank you for having me. Hopefully I'll be back soon with
Yes.
the accomplishment I'm seeking, the marathon I'm running, to show that this is not just talk. This is something I'm truly here to do and accomplish by any means necessary, as long as it's not negativity. Thank you, and I appreciate you.
Okay, and I am playing the song. I'm running the song after this. They about to hear you. They're gonna know who you are, and we're gonna talk about that clothing brand too on the next time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I hope you have a blessed day.
All Wolve Incorporated. Tru Wolve. After this drop, make me step they bars up. No cap rap.
Money, power, laying the element of success. Blueprint of nip with every move like chess. Rebuild the empire with every stone they left. I know she for this vibe, my wave feel like it's sex. Focused on my grind, bitch get off my line. Yours beat the crime, look at how I rise. Foreigns when I slide, get you just my time. Put this on rewind, let the seats recline.
Streets been waiting, thanks for being patient. See you niggas hating, drowned in my wave, man. Dripping on the pavement for you. Dripping on the pavement for you.
Few stacks in the cash app with corporate payments. Transitioning life to a business statement. But after you die, people call you the greatest. You never catch me slipping on any occasion. My trigger finger scary, I'm sorry, you anxious. I'm riding to the streets of the straight of my greatness. Motivation is possessive, it's easy, just claim it. It's easy, just claim it.
Streets been waiting, thanks for being patient. See you niggas hating, drowned in my wave, man. Dripping on the pavement for you. Dripping on the pavement